There is no end to the what to do now videos or the what to grow videos. Let's face it, I make them myself, but there is surprisingly little on what not to do or what not to miss each month, and that is just as important. So that's where this monthly video series comes in. I'm going to let you in on what I think are the most common mistakes and omissions so often made by gardeners, including myself. So whether you're a beginner gardener or someone experienced with years of gardening under your belt, let's talk mistakes, starting right now. Hey everyone, how's it going? And welcome back. To kick off this month, this mistake catches so many people out. Have you ever lost your favourite plant overnight because of an unexpected frost? That sinking feeling is one that most gardeners, including myself, know all too well. So my first big mistake for October is not knowing your average first frost date. And that's because we talk a lot about last frost date in spring, that approximate date when you can safely plant out your tender plants with the confidence that those frosts are a thing of the past. But few of us actually pay attention to the other end of the season. Yet that first frost is just as important. It's the line in the sand that tells you when tender plants need protecting, when it's time to lift dahlias or cannas, when you need to move potted plants into shelter, and finding the date really couldn't be easier. A quick online search for first frost date map brings up super online resources that just make it so easy to determine for yourself. But here's the trick, adjust it for your own garden. If you're on a hilltop or in a frost pocket, assume that it's going to come earlier. If you're in a coastal or sheltered position, you might have a little bit longer. Let's look at my garden, for example. Where I am in Ireland, my first frost date is about mid-November, but I know that despite this map, this garden does tend to be a little bit of a frost pocket. So I'm going to pull it sooner and make it the start of November. But why does this really matter? And it's because tender plants like this, my French tarragon, or even late planted potatoes that I have behind me, they can get wiped out in a single cold night. Even if they don't die outright, frost damage often sets them back so much that they never really properly recover. Knowing your frost window also helps you plan jobs. You'll know when to cover plants with fleece, when to harvest the last of your beans or tomatoes, when to get your borderline hardy plants tucked away, or even just when not to walk on your grass. I've been caught out before. One sharp frost, months of work done. So please don't make the same mistake. Check your first frost date, plan backwards, and stay ahead of that cold. Time to get looking out all the pots for the bulbs and some of last year's bulbs to get replanted. And that got me thinking, do you love spring bulbs but feel like their display disappears as soon as it arrives? Well, you know what? That's not actually the failing of the bulbs. It's actually our failing. And I say that because I have made this classic October mistake too, and it's not planning for succession when planting your spring bulbs. Do you find that your spring bulb selection stops at tulips and daffodils? Come on now, be honest. Beautiful, yes, but limited. Daffodils give you lots of colour in March and April, tulips in April and May, but then what? Or more importantly, what about before that? After all of that digging and planting or planting into pots, the show can feel like it's over in a flash. But here's the good news. With just a little bit of planning, bulbs can keep your garden flowering from January all the way through into June and more. I'm going to put these down, these are heavy. So start with the earliest. Snowdrops, Iris reticulata, chinodoxa, they bring life into your garden as early as January and February. Then come crocuses, mid-season narcissus, and tulips keep the show rolling, followed by late tulips that stretch the colour into May. After that, alliums, camasias, even gladioli carry you even further into the summer. And don't forget, even with one type, say tulips, timing varies. Tulips alone have early, mid and late cultivars. Mix them and suddenly you've got weeks of colour instead of maybe just 1 or 2 weeks at most. Snowdrops too? Well, there's a snowdrop out there for almost every single month of the year, believe it or not. If you want to sidestep this error and maximise impact in small spaces, try a bulb lasagna in pots. Layer early bulbs at the top, mid-season in the middle, and then your late bulbs at the bottom. The result is this single container that just flowers for months and months. I've made a video on exactly how to do that, which I'll link at the end so that you can enjoy. Think of bulbs like a relay race. One hands the baton to the next. By planting for succession, you don't just get fleeting colour, you create a rolling display that carries you right through spring. Don't just stop at daffs and tulips, because I think your garden and your containers deserve more. This episode has kindly been supported by the team at Moasure, and I really enjoy sharing this little device with you because the Moasure 2 Pro has genuinely made measuring, planning, surveying, understanding my garden just so much easier, and it has saved me hours of time compared to using tapes or lasers. And that's because it works in a completely different way. Instead of pulling a tape or guessing with a measuring wheel, you simply walk with it. Motion sensors inside the device track exactly where it is so that you can measure boundaries, you can calculate areas, and you can even map slopes and contours all in one go. What I love most about the Moasure 2 Pro is how precise but fast it is, and I'm going to show you right now. This is the huge new bed that I'm planning to run in the front garden. Ignore the grass, by the way. My lawnmower broke the other day and it's all getting really long. I know that what I'm going to need to do is when this landscape fabric is lifted, I need to add compost. But how much? So if I want to know the exact size of the bed with the Moasure 2 Pro, all I need to do is get it going, walk along the bed, and it pulls together all of the measurements automatically. Total square meterage, the gradient, and the perimeter, each of the lengths recorded and ready to go. But best of all, I can use it to calculate the volume. I just adjust how deep I'm going to need my compost to be, and you can see that it gives me the total volume immediately. And it's not just the device. The Moasure app that runs alongside it is the central point where all of your data is kept and can be used. Your measurements are stored, they're organized really nicely, they're ready to revisit and manipulate at any time. You can share them, you can export them, and the app has just been updated, which brings even more great functionality to it. Things like updated color coding for contours, voice labeling, annotations, and also some great more advanced options for power users. For me, it's the combination of speed and accuracy that makes the Moasure 2 Pro, well, just indispensable. For more information, use the link down below. And don't forget, Moasure have kindly given me a discount code to pass on to yourself. Just enter the discount code X8NILE at checkout. Are you a dirty gardener? No, actually. Are you a little bit of a dirty gardener when it comes to your greenhouse or your polytunnel? Right. Here is the one that I have endlessly been guilty of myself. Not cleaning the greenhouse glass, but specifically not in October. By now, if you look closely, you're going to see that your greenhouse's glass is often clouded with dried algae, streaked with dried rain deposits, and covered in like old leaves and cobwebs. In summer, that's fine, it's easy to ignore. There's plenty of light, plants are thriving, and you're also just busy with other jobs. But in autumn and winter, when the daylight gets shorter, the sun is lower in the sky and it's weaker, a dirty greenhouse can really reduce light levels to a surprising degree, and that makes a big difference to anything that you've got in your greenhouse, whether it's overwintering or your spring seedlings if you leave it that late. The mistake people make, and which I make as well, is putting the job off. We say it's too early, or storms are just going to mess it up again. And yes, more dirt is going to blow in, but trust me, if you don't clean it now, you definitely aren't going to want to do it in November when it's cold and wet and miserable, and then it's going to be way worse. So get yourself your hose or some soapy water and a sponge, or even better, one of these little car cleaning squeegees, and work over the glass, making sure to really clean it. But don't just leave it to cleaning the outside, clean the inside of the glass as well, because every bit that you can do is going to help your light levels. But particularly when it comes to cleaning the glass on the inside, you also get the benefits of making the interior cleaner from the perspective of pests and diseases. This is not the most glamorous task, but it's definitely one of the most worthwhile, so don't be a dirty gardener. Get it done now in October and your future self is gonna thank you. And if you're feeling really empowered from all of that glass cleaning, keep going and do a big clear out while you're at it inside the whole greenhouse. Too much? Yeah, too much for one day. This is all I've done so far. I've only done this bit for the video. I've got to do the rest of the greenhouse now. Now, before you head off, there's a video on screen right now that's going to be perfect for this time of year. So whether you're planning your next steps in the garden, if it's sowing, planting, pruning, getting some bulbs planted, or just getting inspired, it's going to help you make the most of the season ahead. So go on, give that a watch, and until next time, see you later.